Hello, and welcome back to the Coupe de Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to review Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Aston Villa from back on Sunday. Yeah, it was honours even at the Molineux, but it was a good game. We're in fifth going into the international break. We'll also be looking back to last Thursday in the Europa League conference to Aston Villa versus Zrinjski Mostar. So we'll be covering all of that and much more after this. Okay, so yes, we were at Molineux on Sunday for the big game. Some would say a derby. I'm not so much in the derby camp, but before we get to that game, Noah, let's go back to last Thursday. It was the Europa League conference. Villa's first group game at home against Zrinjski Mostar from Bosnia. It was a must-win game. And boy, was it a nervous game. John McGinn, the hero, in the final minute, the last head of the game, pretty much to win it 1-0 in front of the whole tent. Great scenes, and just a bit of a relief that we won it so late.
Yeah, and you got to get credit. You got to get credit to the boys. I mean, they really dug in that sort of situation because let's be honest, I guess I don't know how to say name. Is it Moscow?
We'll just call him Mostar. Yeah,
Mostar. Yeah, Mostar. Like they only came there for a draw. Let's be honest, and I know they had a couple of big chances, but a draw for them would have been massive. And for us, we had to win. We absolutely had to win. And I know we left it so late, and there's a bit of relief, I guess, around Villa Park at the monkey off the back, first win back in Europe, and hopefully we can kick on. Because I tell you, I don't think there's a group that's ever been more even. Points are even, goal difference is even. It's quite remarkable. And yeah, Villa Park was, I guess, it really erupted when that John McGinn goal went in.
Certainly did, and I mean, I'm so happy for him because he's he's been through some ups and downs at Villa, but he's always been a fan favorite, and I think Unai Emerys has taken his game to another level, and he's just he is the sort of heart and soul of the club in many ways, and I just love to see it, and he did the goggles, he did the slide, it was just great. But yeah, it was really a poor first half. I think we had some changes. Dendonka was in there. We had who else was in there?
Longley played.
Yeah, Duran started, of course. And then he rang the changes at halftime. He brought on Matty Cash, Ollie Watkins, Douglas Luiz. And from the second half, it was total domination. I think we had 27 shots to 3. Like you said, there was a couple of huge saves from Emi Martinez. I think one was offside, but there was that really big one in the first half that he was onside and would have counted, and just shows maybe if Olsen had been rotated and was in there, I don't know if he saves that. So that was really huge just to get over the line, I think, was the big thing. Of course, we're playing 2 games a week now and all of that sort of stuff, the big European night. It takes a bit of getting used to, and I think this team, needs to sort of be cut a bit of slack if the performances aren't always great, because we're growing, we're learning, this is a new thing. So to get the win was huge, and we go on to the next round against AZ Alkmaar after the
massive game that. But I've got to say, you got to touch on the performance. I thought Langley was outstanding. I thought he was very good, bounced back well from the other game, and I thought Yuri Tillemans deserves some credit as well. I thought he was very, very good, and I know there's a good player in there, and I just think limited opportunities for him have just kind of frustrated him. And I know he wouldn't have been happy with that performance in the Carabao Cup, where, let's be honest, he got like rings run around him. He was just terrible that day, and I think he'd be the first to admit that, because I mean, he's won things. Like, he won the FA Cup with Leicester off his own boot. Like, he's a winner, and obviously he wants to get into this team, and with bad performances, who knows?
I thought he started badly in the.
I think everyone did. Yeah. I think everyone did. So I don't think you can just say that's a Tillemans thing. But I think he really grew into the game, and he had a
Yeah.
couple of efforts which I think he should have scored, and I think he knows he should have scored. But you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, he tried a little back heel, I think maybe with about I don't know, half an hour to go, and it didn't come off, and he looked a bit silly. But I think from that point on, he kind of maybe felt a little bit embarrassed or a little bit angry at himself. And yeah, he was really trying to, drive the ball forward, have a few shots, kind of playing that sort of more advanced midfield role and create a bit more. And it was good signs to see him sort of turn it around and be crucial in the win in the end. But let's get on to the Wolves match, because that's why we're here. That was the main deal of the week. And we don't have a very good record at Molineux. I think the only time we won there was in the COVID year when there was no fans. So yeah, we don't have a very good record. And I predict a 1-1 draw. I just want to throw that out there. And it wasn't.
So did mine, actually.
Yeah. So
I predicted a 2-1, and I was very, very close to getting that. So
you were. We were just a width of a post away from winning it at the end. Ollie Watkins, really unlucky, but this was another game where the first half, not a lot happened. It was very tense, very tight. And we had that. I think that we started quite well. McGinn had a nice shot early. I think Matty Cash had a good effort. But then I think the game sort of turned back in Wolves' favour with that whole McGinn-Dawson shenanigans. What did you think of that? Because I'm thinking like that's okay sometimes, but maybe not when we're in the ascendancy,
It's the second time in a row. We played a Molineux last time, and it was the same sort of crap going on with McGinn and Dawson. I'm not sure what the hatred thing is between those two. They always liked a bit of a corner spit. They both kind of, flop around and ask the ref for fouls and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah.
Honestly, when it happened last year, they scored a goal direct from that first set piece it happened at. So I was getting flashbacks to last year. But the way we started the game, we do what we have to do away from home. We took the sting out of the crowd, took the sting out of the game, and I really thought we'd grow into that. And then, as you said, Wolves kind of took control from that moment onwards for the second half, and probably actually in the start of the second half. I know we had that opportunity really early with Watkins, but until they really scored a goal was really when we started like we clicked into gear.
Yeah.
But the first half, as you said, kind of through the motions, did what we had to do to go in level. I know we probably should have scored. I know Cash's opportunity was a massive, massive opportunity. And look, we've seen McGinn score worldies like that before. I know he had an attempt, it was in the first half again, that went way over the bar. I was like, what are you doing, John? Just play the simple pass. If it plays off, it pays off. If not, you look like a fool. And look, I was happy going in at halftime 0-0.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I thought with our sort of quality on the bench, that when the game opened up later, we could bring on the likes of Bailey and, maybe Duran or, a few others, and, really use that quality on the bench to open the game up and hopefully get a goal. But like you said, Wolves went in front. Pedro Neto, very good player, I got to say it. And he's in some great form. He absolutely tore Man City to shreds the week before. And, Pau Torres gets beaten, on that left-hand side, and he puts it into Hwang, who scores. And, I mean, it's one of those sort of goals where, it can happen. It wasn't really a lot you can say. I mean, what does Torres do there? Does he bring him down and take the yellow? Maybe. But, it was a good goal. And I just love the response, though. You straight away, Ollie Watkins, great ball in, and Pau Torres with his first goal for Villa.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what I can say about that first goal from Wolves, to be honest. I mean, they looked dangerous on the counter-attack all game, and that's how they're always going to score. That's how they scored against Man City. To be honest, that's how they score against the good sides, and I classify Villa as a good side now, and the way we go about our business is second to none. And look, there's so many things in the build-up that could have stopped that goal. I think it was from a corner from ours, wasn't it? From a corner or a free kick, something like that.
I know Douglas Luiz lost the ball.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leading. I think we gave the ball away cheaply, and Neto's absolutely rapid. Like, he's so quick. He's no Moussa Diaby, but going up against Pau Torres, I mean, he's no chance. Would I have taken him down? It was very early in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't think it was worth taking a yellow. I think he probably thought he could body him a little bit or push him out wider. I mean, Constant got. I think it actually came. I think it took a deflection off Torres going into the box, which
It
actually
did.
put it in Juan
Or
Hee-chan's path.
Digne, I think it was,
Was
maybe.
Digne. It took a
Yeah.
deflection going in, and if it actually doesn't take that deflection, I think we cleared the ball. So defensively, I think we were okay. But as you said, what a response. I love like you hear the Wolves fans chanting like shit on the Villa, like as soon as they score. So I thought it was absolutely
So
fantastic.
good.
And the emotion actually coming out of Pau Torres when he scored. I haven't actually seen anything like that from him. He's quite a calm and collected guy, but him pointing at the badge, absolutely lapping it up. And Wolves on their massive derby day again no longer get 3 points.
No, they don't. And as the game went on after that, it was pretty tight. And then going into the last sort of 15 minutes, I think we sort of really upped our game. Of course, there was the red card for Lamina, which was 100% a red card. But before that, there was Wolves fans, and I'm sure maybe there's a few of you watching would say that they deserved a penalty. When Neto went past and Kamara sort of goes shoulder to shoulder, knocks him over. But, I think it would have been harsh, but I've seen him given. It's one of those ones where, I think if he gives a penalty, VAR probably doesn't overturn it, but they stick with the on-field decision. And I certainly was relieved, but I think it would have been kind of soft.
Watching it live, I thought, geez, that could be a penalty there. Not like seeing it fast motion. When you see it back, he just absolutely goes to ground too easily, in my opinion. I actually think it does get overturned if it goes to VAR. I think Neto absolutely makes the most of it. I think he just sees feels Kamara coming, gets scared of his shadow, and initially braces for contact. Let's be honest. I don't think there's an argument there. But again, if I take my Villa hat off, who knows? But I think there's absolutely no argument. I think the ref did sensationally well with that one. And then I know you're going to lead on to the Watkins penalty.
Well, yeah, that's where I was going.
Again, I think that Watkins was getting ready to take the shot. If it was given, I'd been absolutely buzzing with the penalty, by the way. I'm not saying anything. Right. But I think that Watkins' momentum was in the shot. And the push just kind of, it does put him over. But I don't think it was a severe push. You know what I mean? I think if it's given, it saves a pen. But I just don't think there's enough in that to overturn it.
I think I agree with you. The actual force of the contact isn't that much, but
he also pushes him after he kicks it.
I don't know.
If you watch it back,
he plants his left leg. And when you're planting your left leg to swing with your right, any kind of touch is going to send you one way or the other. And I think that he's not playing the ball whatsoever.
No, right? He's not. He's not playing the ball. That's the only thing that would have gone against him. But it got cleared pretty quickly. And obviously, not Aussie rules is a push in the back free kick. But unfortunately, that's not a rule for.
And you can see the fact that Ollie misses to the near side of the goal into the side netting, I guess shows that, because I don't think that's not where he was aiming, right?
No, I think he got put off by him. But I know I'm going to piss a lot of Villa fans off here because I'm trying not to be Villa biased all the time in what I say, but I just don't think there's enough in it. If that was given against Villa, I think I'd be really annoyed. That's how I view it. I'd like to try to view it in both ways, and I just think that I'd be really pissed off if it was given against us because I honestly think that the Watkins took the shot before he was really pushed. Do I think Watkins rushed the shot? Yeah, I think he rushed it because he saw the defender coming.
Yeah,
but I think if he had waited and hadn't shot yet and then got pushed, it's a penalty. But I think he already shot before it was the initial contact was there.
Well, let us know in the comments if you thought it was a penalty or not. I think it was just because of the fact he'd beaten him, he'd gone past him, and it was a desperate push, knowing that he was never getting the ball. I can see your point too. It wasn't a strong contact. I agree with you there. There wasn't a lot in it, and I wasn't completely fuming. It was one of those ones where I was like, it's a penalty in my opinion, but okay. But they get the red card though, and we have that chance from Molly. Was it a penalty? But then there was plenty of other chances in the last few minutes. 12 minutes of injury time, which I think ended up being like 13 and a half minutes. We had Conser had a great chance. Douglas Luiz, I think, had a couple of efforts blocked. And then there's the one from Ollie right at the end. The last touch of the match. It would have been like another McGinn moment against Mostar.
Well.
Yeah, and unfortunately this time it hits the post and goes out, and we have to be happy with a point. But look, I am happy with a point. I think I'm a glass half full kind of guy on this. I think, the fact we went behind and instantly responded, the fact that we don't have a good record there, the fact that it was a bit of a fight, a bit of a nasty game. There was some tasty challenges going on, and we stood up to that without losing our heads. So how did you feel? Did you feel it was 2 points dropped?
I don't think it was 2 points dropped at all. I mean, we have a terrible record against Wolves in general, let alone at Molineux, and it's a hard place to come. It's their biggest game of the year, just about. It's their big derby. As much as what we say, I don't think it's a derby. I think it's a derby. But for Wolves, it's a massive game. Yeah. They want to beat us. They fucking hate us for some reason. I don't, again, know why. They're 3 hours away, what it feels like, out of Birmingham in the Black Country. But I'll take a point against them. I mean, most games on the road, you take a point in the Premier League as a minimum.
But as the game sort of panned out, do you think it's a fair result?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I think both teams had opportunities to win it. Both teams, could have scored more goals. It was a tight affair, and I think the 1-1 justifies the result. Yep,
I'm happy enough. And then, of course, after the game, there was a bit of bad blood between Gary O'Neill and Unai Emery. They didn't shake hands.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, apparently Unai Emery wasn't too happy with one of their coaches or support staff, and he went over to shake Gary O'Neill's hand, but Gary O'Neill was complaining with the fourth official about the added time, and Unai Emery didn't want to wait. I did hear Gary O'Neill say afterwards that they shook hands in the tunnel and that they're fine. There's no real issue, but it was a bit of a story, so I thought we better touch on it. But look, I thought Gary O'Neill's post-match comments were weird. He said that he felt like they shaded the game and that Villa were very defensive, playing 6 at the back, he was saying, and with all the money that we've spent to go there and just sit behind, park the bus is a bit weak, and I was thinking, are you watching the same game? Yeah, we had 18 shots to 8 or something like that. It was I don't know.
That's a weird thing to say because they literally escaped with a draw. Yeah. Technically, at the end, we could have scored it to death. I know it was an evenly balanced game. That just sounds like really salty comments.
Yeah.
We know how we defend. We do like to get players behind the ball, but who doesn't want to get players behind the ball when you're defending?
That's it.
You want to sustain a 4-back the whole game. Like, come on.
And we mix it up during the game, and we
do.
And we play good football when we are in possession, and we do press at times as well, like depending on the game plan. And because Neto is their biggest danger, that you don't probably want to leave that much room in behind. You want to let them sort of play in front of you and try and break you down, and then try and play on the counter attack and keep the ball when you've got it. And I think that's what we did, especially in the second half, a bit better. So yeah, Gary O'Neill, come on, mate, grow up. Stop being a bitter little man. So 1-1. You were 5th in the league. I'm excited about the way things are going. Like, I know there's a lot of people online on Twitter and Facebook and that are very kind of like negative still about, I don't know, like the slow passing, the build up, the different this player or that player, so what do you think about that? You got anything more to add about the game?
Not particularly. I didn't really see much of the negative comments, to be honest. I
Yeah,
thought
right.
that, I mean, we're fifth in the league at the moment. Like, we are absolutely flying, Scott. And, in contrast to last season, I just got home from the UK and, we're sitting in a relegation battle, Steven Gerrard. I think we're about to play like Chelsea at home, and
Yeah,
was Gerrard going to get sacked before the game? And 12 months later, we are absolutely flying.
yeah.
We're in Europe. We're fifth in the Premier League. The whole table looks ridiculous with Chelsea and United not even up there at the moment, and Villa, Newcastle, and Brighton are doing so well.
Mm.
Football's a funny game.
That's
Football is a
it.
funny
And
game.
we're only 3 points off top of the league.
No, it's ridiculous. It really is, and we're all on an amazing journey. Especially for people that travel home and away and went to places like Rotherham and all those crappy little places in the Championship. I remember, was it Reading 0-0 or something, or one of the teams, Wigan or Reading, we got absolutely thrashed by in the Championship in January.
Yeah.
And that was like the death of Aston Villa Football Club. We just signed Tyrone Mings, Courtney Horse.
Yeah.
We weren't going to get promoted. To think of the run we would go on that season and where we are now. I think it was like 3 years ago today or something. Dean Smith, maybe 4 years ago today, when it was Dean Smith and it signed as manager. And I can't thank that bloke enough for what he did for this football club. And it all started with those crappy little Championship games, and we still stood out the away end. And you got to respect those guys that have gone home and away, because they deserve it. It's the fans that I think deserve it more than anyone.
That's it. And if you had said back then that we'd have a World Cup winner in goal, we'd be fifth in the league, we'd be one of the top scoring teams in the league. We'd be, like beating some of the biggest teams in the league. You wouldn't have guessed that we'd go to Chelsea 2 years in a row and win. These sort of results, so anyone would have like snapped your hand off at that if you had told them.
I remember going to Stamford Bridge 2 years in a row and losing like 7-1 and 8-0 or something like that. Like, we just couldn't go to those places. It's times have changed, Scott, and I just think that everyone should just remain positive about the team, because we might lose a game. We might lose to a team we should beat. It happens.
Yep.
But just look what this manager has done for our football club. And just remember where we were 5 years ago.
That's it. And when you think like, oh, Tillemans isn't good enough for us, or Ollie Watkins misses too many chances or whatever, like just
we'll bring back Rudy Gestede and Bakir Bjarnason.
Yeah, Leandro Bacuna. It's a lot better than it was back then, and we should be thankful that Wes Edens and Nasser came in and took us over and brought this new lease of life into the club. So it's all good. It's the international break now, of course. Some more news since our last podcast was, of course, the re-signing of Ollie Watkins, which was huge. He did that great little video of everyone saying sign the contract, and
that was great. That was one on by the club, actually. That was one on.
And how'd you feel about that?
I'm buzzing, mate. He's my man. I've backed him in all year. I don't care what Tommy has to say. Last year said he could go out the door. He is Villa's man. He's going to break all our Premier League records. He is out. Like, I love him. Like, the way he goes about the game. I know he misses opportunities. I know he does. But there's players around him that can score. He doesn't have to score every week. He just has to be our man that runs hard and score. Like, he's the first player to score two hat-tricks in a game for like 30 years or something. Yep. Sorry, 2 hat-tricks in a season, not a game. That's
since
ridiculous.
Andy Gray, yeah.
Andy Gray, yeah. Like, it's a joke of the records he's already breaking. And the way he spoke in his interview about the records he wants to break, it gets me excited.
Yeah, and I like that.
He's just such a positive guy. I know he copped so much criticism from the fans last year. I think he replied to him saying, like, nothing or something. Like, he had to actually arc back, and we don't want that. We really want to support him, and I'm excited for the next 5 years of him, let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And, he's back in the England squad now. They've got a match against Australia, England versus Australia, which we're very excited about.
I feel bad for Ollie because Australia are going to win that like 5-0. Like, I feel bad. He's starting in that game. So Mate, there's actually no point England playing because Australia's gonna win that easy.
Australia do lift for those sort of games. It's a bit of a danger game. I remember that Sven-Goran Eriksson last time I think England and Australia played in the men's, and Harry Kewell and Viduka scored.
Yeah, the winner, wasn't it? Upton Park.
Yeah, and he didn't realise the rivalry, so I would never have arranged that friendly if I realised that, because he's a Swede. He didn't realise that England and Australia had this kind of sporting rivalry, but no, but it'd be interesting to see, and of course, we wish Ollie Watkins all the best, and hopefully, he can get a goal or two, and Ezri Konsa unlucky again.
He can't do any more, can he, Scott?
Yeah, it seems a bit harsh, but
I was comparing stats. Someone put it on Twitter, like the 3 guys in there. So Maguire, Dunk, and then the 5 guys, and Konsa had the best stats out of all of them for the current season. Like, what more has he got to do?
I'm not sure, but
so I sit on the bench for Manchester United and do bugger all, because that's what Harry Maguire's done.
Actually, yeah, the Harry Maguire one is a real sort of head scratcher, but I guess he's Gareth Southgate's man. I don't know. You'd have to ask Gareth, but for me, I take Ezri Konsa every day of the week. But from a Villa point of view, I'm kind of happy he's going under the radar a bit. Hopefully, he just plays for us and plays really well because he's doing great at the moment.
But it's going to get to a stage, though, like the England are going to miss out on him because they miss out on Matty Cash. I know, you compare him to the players they've got, he might not get in that team. But he's he can play for Portugal, Ezri Konsa. If I'm Portugal, I'm knocking on the door saying, "Hey, mate, do you want to play international football?" Because Portugal's still a bloody good side to play for.
Absolutely.
I'd
play Cristiano. That'd be...
If I was Ezri, I'd be, probably swayed by that if they came.
I would be too.
So England have got to be smart. They've really got to be smart with how they do this. He's deserved a couple of caps. Like, he really has.
Yeah, I was a bit worried when he went down in the game against Wolves. I thought, oh no, here's another defensive injury. But he seemed to recover pretty easily. But he was stretching his groin at one point. I thought, ooh.
Bit of cramp, I reckon. He hasn't missed a game for Villa, so I think there's a bit of cramp for good old Ezri.
And the women, unfortunately, got beat 2-0 by Liverpool. That's 2 consecutive losses to start the season. Not a good start. And Liverpool's one of those teams they're probably going to be competing with for that sort of, 4th, 5th, 6th spot. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but hopefully they can bounce back in the coming games. What else do we want to talk about?
I'll touch on something, Scott.
Yep, go for it.
I'm not sure if you've seen the video that Norwich put on social media.
I did
going
see
around
this.
a lot, and it's a great video. It's a fantastic video, and I was just giving massive respect. So, the caption is: at times it can be obvious when someone is struggling to cope, but sometimes the signs are harder to spot. Check on those around you. And I just think it's an amazing, they've done it at the game. They put in a game scenario, and just the way they've gone about, I think, sensational. And they even like clubs in Australia in the Aussie rules are sharing this.
Awesome.
It's really going around, and especially with I guess males and stuff, people don't seem to speak out as much, but definitely check on your mates and everything, because you just don't know what people are going through. And I just think it's a sensational thing they did.
Absolutely. It's good that we have these kind of conversations now, and, things are a lot more out in the open and in the media and the public eye, and these kind of, you see, even I saw the David Beckham documentary, and he said he had no one to talk to when he got sent off in that famous World Cup match, and the whole of England hated him. And, I think nowadays, if something like that happened, when Bukayo Saka missed the penalty in the Euros, just the love and respect and the support that he got, it's just, proves that we're in a way better place in terms of mental health. And just if you're feeling it, please talk to someone or ask a friend if they're feeling, if they're doing okay. And we all support that. That was a great one, Noah. But I think the international break coming up is obviously, a bit boring from a Villa point of view, but that was the one thing that I did forget. Villa Park obviously got nominated as one of the grounds for the Euros in 2028.
Yeah. So I think they put it down as a 52,000 seater stadium.
Yes.
So that's going to include not just the North Stand redevelopment, I think one more maybe in the Holt End or Doug Ellis. I've heard rumors of them getting a bit of an upgrade. So that's a sensational accomplishment. I think the new Everton ground is one of them as well. So how good international football coming back to Villa Park.
That's it, yeah. So that'll be really exciting, and it just shows that we're where we're meant to be. We're one of the big boys. We've got one of the best grounds in the world, and like going back to what we were talking about before when we were playing in the championship, and we didn't even have the full ground open because we were playing I don't know, Barnsley at home and we couldn't fill it and this sort of thing. It's just we've come so far and it's so exciting. And being fifth in the league, which could be a Champions League spot, let's, keep our fingers crossed on that one. And we can stay up there, it'd be brilliant. But Noah, thanks again for coming on. Thanks everyone for watching.
We got to do predictions, Scott.
West
Ham.
West Ham predictions.
Just in case, because you don't want to miss out on that. So
okay.
It is. I believe we're playing away, are we, or are we at home?
No, it's at home.
But it is at home. Scott, you go first, mate. I always go first. You always sit there and listen to mine.
Okay. I'm going to say 2-1 Villa. I'm going to say Zaniolo and probably Watkins. Zaniolo and Watkins.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Villa. And I'm going to Watkins hat-trick.
Oh, okay.
I love that man. And I think it's his first home game since signing the contract, and I think he will have a day out. I do think Zaniolo has got to score soon, though, because he looks like scoring every time he touches the football.
Yes.
It's not quite going his way.
He had that overhead against Mostar that was so unlucky. We didn't touch on that. That would have been a goal of the season contender. But
no. It would have been goal of the year.
It was huge. I know there's a few people that aren't convinced with him, but I would say, like some of the others, give him time because he's
never played in the Premier League before. I know players like Leon Bailey and Diaby if you really hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But I think there's more similarities in the Bundesliga. Like you see players like Jude Bellingham do really well there. I know he hasn't played, but he's played in England. Jadon Sancho again played a few games for Man City. They've done a lot better in Germany than I think they would in Serie A. I know, I guess Lukaku dominates there, but I think it's a bit different. And I think he'll find his feet. And he looks so good on the ball, and he's having great shots. Just one of them has to go in.
Yeah, he's certainly got a confidence in himself, and if he gets a goal, I think that'll go to another level, and we'll start seeing the best of him. So, fingers crossed for that. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. We will see you next week. Enjoy your international break without the Villa, and we'll be back for West Ham. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Take it easy.